Hello everyone and sincerely welcome to the IT-KnowledgeBase YouTube channel. In this video training, I'll let you focus on the pfSense firewall IPsec remote access VPN using IKE version 2 with the EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2 authentication method, along with covering all the step-by-step required settings in the pfSense firewall. This roadwarrior configuration is universally usable for many different clients and easy to set up. IKE version 2 or Internet Key Exchange is a version 2 key exchange protocol including in the IPsec protocol suite. It provides high data security, speed and stability. IKE version 2 VPN server allow authenticated users to connect to your home and office network resources over the internet securely. IKE version 2 is natively supported on these platforms: Windows, Mac operating systems and iOS operating systems, as well as popular Linux distributions and Blackberry devices. It handles client hiccups quite smoothly, and by default, Android versions are not supported. And to make it achieve, we have to install third-party VPN client like a StrongSwan VPN client in the Android versions to connect with our VPN server. The IKE version 2 tunneling protocol is part of the IPsec protocol, transmitting data over UDP port 500 and 4500. With its security, stability, and speed, IKE version 2 is currently one of the best VPN solutions for mobile users. In this video lecture, I'll set up an IKE version 2 with the EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2 authentication method in the latest version of pfSense 2.7.2 release at the time of this recording, and make it adorable to all types of devices. To make this configuration in the production more enticing, we could also connect macOS, Ubuntu, and iOS versions, which I will cover certainly in my upcoming videos. For the best performance to deliver the greatest content, I would prefer to configure all the prerequisites and essentials configurations from the scratch. Just master to be ready in pfSense, OpenVPN, SSL/TLS, and IPsec tunnels. If you are innovative, you can also watch my earlier pfSense videos, where I have already covered various site-to-site VPN configurations tunnels over OpenVPN IPsec, SSL/TLS, and transitioning from peer-to-peer shared key to SSL/TLS to establish a site-to-site VPN between your head offices and branches. In part 1, I have discussed in very great detail how to configure pfSense OpenVPN site-to-site VPN in peer-to-peer shared key mode. In part 2, continuation with the part 1 video lecture is the transitioning video, where your existing OpenVPN site-to-site is running in the peer-to-peer shared key mode, and you would have to transition to the most secure. And in this video, you will see practically how to transition or convert your present peer-to-peer shared key VPN into peer-to-peer SSL/TLS mode, which was super fast and easy, but certainly not very difficult if you follow along the accurate orders. And in this final part 3, I have shown you how to install and configure site-to-site VPN over an IPsec VPN tunnel from the scratch. All these series are worth watching videos, and you should go through all these. This is an excellent engaging video where I have talked about not only with OpenVPN server, but also how multiple branches can communicate securely over the SSL/TLS tunnel with each other, what special configurations are involved, and how to interconnect between the branches over the site-to-site VPN. I have also discussed and shown you how to connect the pfSense firewall as an OpenVPN client situated in our site D. The procedure is identically the same, but I would like to show you how to connect your pfSense as an OpenVPN client with the pfSense firewall and establish a site-to-site VPN. Also covered and let your attention on the pfSense incorporation with Active Directory or LDAP with a step-by-step how to configure all the required settings in the pfSense. And today I am covering how to configure step-by-step IPsec remote access VPN using IKE version 2 with EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2 authentication method. All the series links have been detailed in the description, so you can go through all this. And mark my words, after these mastering assorted client-server and site-to-site VPN training series, you will become a perfectionist and a completionist. I was simply inquisitive taxation mind about creating a site-to-site VPN configuration series, and particular fondness for demystifying the configuration of different types of VPN protocols for everyone, so you guys easily grasp all the required and essential configurations without any irritations and configure confidently in your production pfSense firewall to get your branches and mobile workers connected, protected, and secure your infrastructure. This is the distinctive lab network scenario that I have portrayed to simulate the realistic in action. We have a corporate office with several distinct servers, along with the primarily Microsoft Active Directory Server 2022 in place, for centrally managing users and groups, identity, and access. We also have a roaring pfSense firewall sitting in the front of my corporate LAN to filter internal and external traffic. In addition, I would prefer to configure the IPsec remote access VPN using IKE version 2 with EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2 service. On our right side here, we have our remote users sitting in various locations, at home, in other offices, and some of the roadwarrior connections who always require connection with the corporate office LAN to access the distinctive services. Let's understand the fundamentals and prerequisites to establish an effective configuration of the IPsec remote access VPN using IKE version 2 with EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2 server configuration. Primarily, we must have to go set up all these. Create an IKE version 2 certificate structure for the VPN, then configuring the IPsec mobile client settings and creating the phase 1 and phase 2 for the client connections, mobile IPsec user creation, adding IPsec firewall rules, and create client configuration and user credentials. Alright, let's start our hands-on demonstration segment and log into our pfSense firewall so we can complete our first compulsory stuff. Foremost, certificate authority and the server certificate are compulsory here for the pfSense firewall and have valuable rations when the intention is to create a secure and encrypted VPN in the pfSense firewall. If you have a brand new pfSense firewall, then you must follow this step or skip this if you already have in your place. If a suitable certificate authority or CA is not present in the certificate manager, creating one is the first task. Navigate to System, Certificates. In the Authorities, click Add to create a new certificate authority. Descriptive name, I would prefer to name it IPsec CA. Method, select create an internal certificate authority. Randomized serial should be checked. Common name, I would prefer to name it the same as descriptive, IPsec-CA. Leave the rest of the fields at their default value or adjust them to suit your local preferences. And now click on Save. Create a server certificate. Now click on the Certificates tab. I would highlight a warning here. Follow these directions exactly, paying close attention to how the server certificates is created at each step. If any one part is incorrect, some or all our clients may fail to connect. Click Add to create a new certificate. Set the options as follows. Method, select create an internal certificate. Descriptive name, I would prefer to name it IKEv2. Server certificate authority, select a recently created CA. In my instance, it is IPsec CA. Common name, the host name of the firewall as it exists in the DNS. For example, in my instance, I will go with the FQDN name of my VPN server. It's vpn.itkvconsultant.com. If clients will connect by IP address, place the IP address here instead. Certificate type, select server certificate. Alternative names, select IP address if you intend to connect your VPN server with the legit IP address. Select IP address, enter the WAN IP address of the firewall. In my instance, it's 192.168.11.105. Add more alternative names as needed for additional host names or IP addresses on the firewall that client may use to connect. Now click on Save. The next step is to choose an IP address range to use for mobile clients. Ensure that IP addresses do not overlap any existing network. I would highlight a warning here. The IP addresses used by mobile clients must differ from those in use at the site hosting the mobile kernels, as well as the LAN from which the client will be connected. This example uses 10.20.200.0/24, but it can be any unused subnet. Navigate to VPN, IPsec, and then click on Mobile Clients. IKE extension or Enable IPsec mobile client support should be checked. Set the authentication options as follows. User authentication, select local database. This setting is not needed for EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2, but it must have something to select here. Please note, radius servers defined in the user manager or user management and authentication can be selected here for authenticating users when using EAP radius authentication method. Set the client configuration option. These settings may be pushed to the client, such as the client IP address and DNS servers. Support for these options varies between clients, but this common as well supported in most current operating systems. Virtual address pool should be checked. Choose an IP address range to use for mobile clients. I will use 10.20.200.0/24. Virtual IP version 6 address pool In my instance, I am using IPv6. You can safely ignore this if IPv6 is not used in your setup. Network list. This is very important. Network list controls whether the client will attempt to send all of its traffic across the tunnel or only traffic for a specific network. If this option is checked, the network defined in the local network options for the mobile phase 2 definition will be sent to the client. If this option is unchecked, client will attempt to send all of their traffic, including internet traffic, across the tunnel. As per my requirement, I would prefer to check this box to flow the relevant traffic only on this tunnel, but not all. DNS default domain. Provide a default domain name to the client. Mine is ITKv.lab. If you have a split DNS environment, then you can take advantage of this. In my instance, I'm using split DNS, ITKv.lab space ITKvconsultant.com. Click on the DNS server. Provide a DNS server list to client. I have two domain controllers. One is 192.168.11.201 and 202. Now click on the save. Now click on the create phase 1 at the top of the screen as it is appeared. The phase 1 configuration for mobile clients must be configured as follows. Description. I would prefer to write mobile IPsec or another suitable description. Key exchange version, select IKE version 2. Internet protocol, IPv4 for this example. Interface, select your preferred WAN. Authentication method, select EAP-MSCHAPv2. My identifier, choose fully qualified domain name from the drop-down list. And then enter the host name of the firewall. In my case, it's vpn.itkvconsultant.com. Please note, this must match the value in the server certificate. Pair identifier, select any. My certificate, choose the IPsec server certificate created earlier. It's IKEv2 server. Encryption algorithm, add multiple combinations of encryption, hash, and DH options to accommodate various clients with different requirements. Click Add Algorithm to add more entries. They should be added with the most secure and preferred options first. I am running various diverse devices, so it's a good starting set of options is algorithm AES-256 GCM, hash type should be set to SHA-256 spine, DH group 16. Click on Add Algorithm. Select AES-256 GCM again. Hash type SHA-256 is okay. DH group, select 2. Now click on Add Algorithm again. This time I would choose AES-256. SHA-256 is fine. DH group is 14. Add one more time. Add Algorithm. AES-256. SHA-1. And DH group is 40. Lifetime is fine. Mob IKE set to enable to allow clients to roam between IP addresses, otherwise set to disable. I would prefer to enable this option. With Mob IKE, can keep or reuse a mobile VPN with IKE version 2 connection because Mob IKE allows changes to the IP addresses associated with IKE version 2 and the tunnel mode IPsec security association. This means your remote workers can remain connected to the VPN even if they move to a different network. Now click on Save. Phase 1 is completed. Now click on the Show Phase 2 entries. To expand the list of mobile Phase 2 entries, click Add P2 to add a new mobile Phase 2. Description, type mobile IPv4 in my instance. Mode, select tunnel IPv4. Local network, set to LAN subnet or another local network. Here is a tip. To tunnel all traffic over the VPN, use network and enter all zeros with a subnet mask of 0. Protocol, select ESP. Encryption algorithm, set to combination of options which will be accepted by all possible clients. A good starting set is AES-128, AES-128-GCM 128-bit, AES-256 GCM 128-bit. Hash algorithm, similar to the algorithm, select all options required by the clients. SHA-1, SHA-256, SHA-384, SHA-512. pfS 14 is already set and it's fine. Please note the warning here. Apple iOS does not support pfS in Phase 2 when configuring a VPN manually. Most other clients required pfSense to be enabled. The best practice is to use a VPN profile from the Apple configurator or IPsec export package manager, which can support the use of pfS rather than creating a VPN connections manually. Lifetime 3600 is fine. Now click on the save. You can add another phase 2 entry, but this time IP version 6 is required. The settings are identical to the previous entry with the following changes. Now click on add phase 2. Type mobile IPv6 mode, tunnel IP version 6. LAN network, LAN subnet as before, or use a network value ;; with a mask of 0 to tunnel all traffic. Protocol, ESP is fine. Select AES-256 GCM 128. Select SHA1, SHA-256, SHA-384, and SHA-512. pfS key group is fine. Lifetime is fine. Now click on save. And click on the apply changes button. The tunnel setup for mobile client is completed. The next step is to add users or use by EAP-MSCHAPv2 version 2. In the VPN IPsec, click on the Appreciate Key tab. Click Add to add a new key. Configure the options as follows. Identifier, the username for the client in my instance is the user NMAM. This can be expressed in multiple ways, such as an email address like nmam@yourdomain.com. Secret type, select EAP. Appreciate key, type the password for the client. This is the password for my lab. Click on save. I would like to create another account for my Android user. It's Android 1. Secret type, select EAP. And now type the password. Now click on save. Repeat as many times as needed for additional VPN users. Now here you have created your users and their passwords. Click on the apply changes button. As with the static site-to-site tunnel, mobile tunnels also requires firewall rules. At firewall, click on rules. On the IPsec tab, click on the add button. Action, it should select to pass. Disable this rule if you want to for maintenance or any defensible reason. Interface should be set to IPsec. Address family, IPv4. You could select IPv6, however, or both. Protocol is TCP. I would prefer to set it to any is better for this time. Later on, you can restrict it. Source and the destination set to any. Provide the relevant description. I would type IPsec tunnel. Now click on the save button. And do not forget to click on the green apply changes button. Here we have completed all the server-side related configuration. And now move on to our client side to test the connection. Each mobile client device needs a VPN instance or client configured. In some cases, a third-party IPsec client may be required. There are many different IPsec clients available for use, some free and some commercial applications. With IKEv version 2, as used in this example, many operating systems have native VPN client and do not need an extra software. Let's first configure IPsec IKEv version 2 remote access VPN client on Windows. But before, please note a tip here. The IPsec Profile Wizard package on pfSense Plus software generates a set of files that can automatically import VPN settings into Apple, macOS, and iOS as well as Windows clients. This feature allows much greater flexibility in settings as it will configure clients to match what is set on the server specifically rather than making the server accommodate the default settings on various operating systems. This package is exclusive to pfSense Plus software and is not available in the community edition. Windows 8 and newer easily support IKEv2 VPNs. Windows 7 supports them as well, though the processes are slightly different. The procedure in this section was performed on Windows 10 21H2, but earlier and later versions are similar. Import the certificate authority to the client. This supports all EAP types. This step is necessary for all the EAP types, EAP-MSCHAPv version 2, EAP Radius, and EAP TLS. Export the CA certificate from the pfSense software and download or copy it to the client PC. Navigate to System. Click on Certificates. In the Certificate Authority tab, click Certificate by the CA to download only the certificate. Copy this downloaded file on the client PC. Double-click the CA file. Click Install Certificate. Select Local Machine. Then click on Next. Click Yes at the UAC prompt if it appears. Select Place all certificates in the following store. Click Browse. Click Trusted Root Certificate Authority. Click on Next. Review the details. Now click on the Finish. Click OK. Click again OK. Import the CA and client certificate to the client EAP TLS only. This process is only required for EAP TLS authentication, which uses per user client certificate. Export the client certificate from the firewall and download it to the client PC. Click on the certificates, edit the server certificate. In my instance, is IKEv2 server. Enter an export password known to the end user, which will encrypt the sensitive content of the archive file. Click Export PKCS12 to download our .p12 file containing the client certificate and key. Copy this downloaded file on the client PC. Double-click the client certificate. Select the current user. Click on Next. Click on Next again. Enter the same password used when exporting the .p12 file. Click Next. Again, click on Next. Click Finish. Click Yes to confirm adding the certificate data. Press OK. And now set up the VPN connection. Here you have added both certificates to support all types of EAP clients and EAP TLS only clients. You can use any one in your production or as per your requirement. And now set up the VPN connection. Once the certificate has been properly imported, it is time to create the client VPN connection. The exact step will vary depending on the versions of Windows being used by the client, but will be close to the following procedure that was performed. Open Client and Internet Settings on the client PC. Click VPN on the left side. Click Add a VPN connection. Set the field as follows. VPN provider, select Windows built-in. Connection name, I would write corp_IKEv2 VPN. Server name, I would type mine as it's vpn.itkbconsultant.com. Please note the warning here. This value must match the content of the server certificate. VPN type IKEv2. Type of sign-in info, username and password. Fill in values for this client when using EAP-MSCHAPv2 or EAP radius. Leave blank to be prompted by the Windows during the connection attempt. Type the username. Mine is NMAM that I created earlier and its password. Now click on Save. The connection is now ready to use, but you can tweaking further in the newly created IPsec IKEv2 dialer. Go to your network connections. Take the properties. Go to the security and double check the type of VPN set to IKEv2. Use EAP selected. Now click on the networking tab. Check or uncheck IPv6 according to your requirement. Take properties of IPv4. In the advanced, make sure you uncheck the use default gateway on remote network, because I don't want to forcibly flow all the traffic through this tunnel, rather only related routed traffic. Click OK, press OK, OK all the out. Now test the VPN connection. Go to the VPN section and click on the recently created IKEv2 VPN connection. And we should be good to go. And yes, it's connected. Let's perform something to our corporate servers, and seems everything is going perfectly fine. Type ping. In my instance, I would like to ping to my Exchange server. Yes, it's replying. Ping again to my web application server. Now let's test the VPN connection on the Android version. The Android version is not supported, so we need to install the StrongSwan VPN client to establish a VPN connection. I have already installed it on my device along with the certificate authority, but don't forget to install certificate authority in your Android device first. As per my scenario, here is the screenshot of my configuration. I just hit a VPN connect button on my Android version and it should establish a connection. And yes, it is. To check the status of all the IPsec VPN connected devices in the pfSense, go to the status and click on the IPsec tab. Here we can see two of our devices successfully established a secure IPsec IKev2 with EAP-MSCHAPv2 authentication connection. Alright, that is all for the now. In this video training, I'd like to focus on the pfSense firewall IPsec remote access VPN using IKev2 with the EAP-MSCHAPv2 authentication method, along with covering all the step-by-step required settings in the pfSense firewall. This roadwarrior configuration is universally usable for many different clients and easy to set up. So that is all I wanted to share with you guys. If you want to see more awesome training content, make sure you click that subscribe button. Click it so you don't miss it. Or if you have any issues or questions, you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you.